friends. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. In case we have not formally met yet, my name is Denise Alvarez, and I, through Storm Lily Marketing, get to help equestrian entrepreneurs like yourself to connect with and book new clients and customers online through a cohesive social media, website, and email marketing strategy. So today we are going to talk specifically about two common myths that I believe are holding you back in your equestrian business. And I know this because I myself also experienced them as I've been building my own equestrian business. I've learned these things and I want to share them with you all. All right. So we are going to discover some marketing pitfalls. And not only that, but you're going to learn how to overcome them. Because guess what? Equestrian entrepreneurship is going to be filled with pitfalls along the way. And it's so important that you're able to step back and make some really important mindset shifts that are going to make the difference, that can really make or break it for you and your equestrian business. So let's dive in, shall we? Now, if you have questions, of course, leave them in the comments. I will be paying attention to those as much as I can on both sides. I'm on both Facebook and Instagram right now. So hello to you all, friends. Let's dive in, all right? Now, first of all, profitable. Let's talk about that, right? The reality is every business, equestrian or not, needs to be profitable to continue for the long term, right? In order to be sustainable. And that's what I want for you. I don't want you to be one of those horse business owners who are saying, I just have an expensive hobby, right? It maybe helps me pay the bills. I hope. I don't really know my numbers. I'm here because I love it, right? I want more for you than that. I want you to have a profitable horse business that is going to help you to do what you want for the long term. And so that's why we're talking about why it matters. Why does building a profitable equestrian business even matter? Now, of course, there are many facets that come to that, right? There are numbers that you need to know. There are bookkeeping formats, all of those things. But what I want to talk about here, of course, is going to be specific to marketing your horse business and some myths that I believe are really holding you back in that area. Okay. Now I'm going to share this with you by way of some of my own personal story and stories of my clients and how I have learned these things along the way and why I know they are myths that I believe many of you are believing, right? So I've been doing marketing in some form or fashion for almost 20 years now. And for my own business, it's been about 5 years, which is amazing. But it started out as a side hustle with not a lot of direction, which may sound familiar to some of you, right? So tell me if you're like, yeah, that's me. I started my business. I didn't even mean to be a business owner. I just loved working with horses. I loved what I did. I didn't have a lot of direction for what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. So that was me, except for it was marketing, right? So I've known since the beginning that Storm Lily Ranch would be an offshoot of my business, which will be a safe and encouraging place for at-risk youth. And you can learn more about that at stormlilyranch.com. It is still a work in process that I am believing the Lord for. But that's always been a part of it. But aside from that, horses were not actually anything to do with my business from the get-go when I first started out. Now, of course, that may surprise some of you because I specialize now in helping equestrian businesses and horse business owners. So how did I go from a side gig with not much direction or clarity to hosting the How to Market Your Horse Business podcast and now being a strategic marketing coach for equestrian entrepreneurs across the country and even in Canada? I have multiple Canadian clients and friends. Well, first of all, I had to make the decision to embrace the title of business owner, which I have talked about with many of you before. I had to decide what does success look like for me and my family and my business. And then I had to keep taking messy action. All right. Now, those three things alone could be their own life topic. But what I want to talk about today is that through that messy action, I discovered two big myths that I was believing that were actually holding me back from building a profitable and successful equestrian marketing business, and that I believe are likely holding you back as well. So let's dive in and see if these myths are something that you have believed before. All right. Myth number one, If I say no to a potential client, then I'm losing money, right? There's no way I can say no to somebody, even if I just know in my gut that they're not right for me. That's a complete myth, my friends. Now, when I first started out, I definitely would do work for just about any business that came my way, right? I thought that it was going to be small businesses that I would work with, or even narrowed down a bit more, maybe it would be entrepreneurs. But here's the reality. Just the latest stats show that there are 31 million entrepreneurs just in the United States. So, not surprisingly, I was a tiny fish in a huge pond of potential clients. I didn't really know who I was best for, who I could really help. And so, therefore, I would say yes to anyone that came in. So I was working with a sleep consultant. I was working with a counselor that was providing some virtual work or virtual sessions. I worked with an HVAC company. I was a little bit of everywhere trying to get my feet wet, trying to figure out who am I for? What do I really enjoy? And who can I really help? Where do my passions and my skills intersect where I can make the most impact? Now, about 18 months into business, I started to get very clear. I realized that working with horse businesses, because I am a horse person, was a beautiful fit, and letting my marketing skills and expertise come into that and work specifically to help horse businesses with their marketing was exactly what I needed to do. But what about those other people, right? How do I say no to people that are coming to me and asking for help, such as the new sleep consultant, the nutritionist, the counselor, right? How do I say no to those people when they're willing to pay so that I can say yes to the people that I wanted to work with? I had to bust that myth that if I was saying no to those people, that it was keeping me from making money. Because the reality is actually the other side. By saying no to someone who is not a right fit, then you can say yes to the people who are, which means you're saying yes to your business and yes to your business goals, right? So, of course, in order to do that, then you have to know who you are a right fit for. Okay. So if you're going to say no to the wrong people and yes to the right people, you've got to know what the difference is. How do you have a filter? What problems are those people experiencing that are a best fit for you? How can you best bring value to them? What can you do? What products and services are you offering that are best for them? And it's going to give you a filter, right? How can you make more of an impact? Who are the horse business owners that I needed to work with that I can make the most impact? And for you, the same is true, right? You need to be able to say no to a potential client that is asking you, right? That's the hard part when they're saying, hey, I'm willing to pay you. Can I? And in your heart, you're going, I know they're not a right fit. I know I've done the hard work. I know what my filter is and they're not fitting through it. How can I say no? Because I know in my heart that means I'm saying yes to the people that are a right fit, that we really are cohesive together, that I can really make the most impact with them. How do you do that? You have to have that filter, right? And you have to be willing to bust that myth that you've been believing. That is, if I say no, then I'm missing out. Because the reality is, if you say no, then you're actually saying yes to yourself, yes to your business, and yes to the people that you can help the most. Now, let's just sidetrack a tiny bit for an objection that I know many of you are probably thinking, because I've heard it before. And it's, but Denise, I can help everyone. I promise. I can help every horse. My methods work for every horse. My methods work for every breed. What I am teaching applies to every rider. I can help everyone, right? Everyone can use images of their horse. I'm a photographer. I know everybody can want these pictures. But here's the reality, and here's the beauty, honestly. We're each made uniquely, right? You are, and your potential clients are. Your teaching style is unique. Your coaching style is unique. The breed or discipline that you specialize in, that you are best for, may be unique, right? Your goals, the goals of your students and the people that you work with, your clients, they are unique. It's okay and it's a good thing to be unique. I want you to embrace that. I don't want you to actually take pride in saying I'm for everyone. Instead, I want you to take pride in knowing that you are not for everyone, and that is okay. It's actually a good thing. There are people that teach similar principles to what I'm teaching you here, but we have different teaching styles. And so they're a great fit for some people, and I'm a great fit for some people. And that's okay. My coaching style is great for some and not for others, and that is okay. So my encouragement to you is to lean into that. And as you work with more of the right people, it's going to become easier to say no to the ones who are not a right fit, because you're going to get energized by those right people. You're going to know that you're making a difference and you want to do more of that. So myth number 1 is I cannot say no. If I say no to potentials, I'm saying no to money. That is a myth. All right. Myth number 2 that is stopping you from building a profitable equine business is that you believe you need to offer everything under the sun in order to make more money. Now, why are both of these myths having to do with money? Because we're talking about building a profitable business, right? So you need to be making money in order to build a profitable business, and that is okay. So you don't have to offer everything in order to make money. And here's how I learned that. Starting out, I was doing copywriting, launch strategy, email marketing, list building, website design, project management, membership courses. I wasn't doing all these things at the same time. It was more like I felt like I needed to have this huge menu of offerings so that when people came to me, came to my website, then I was an automatic yes because I offered what they needed. But the reality is that's not necessary. Now, is it important to try different things to see what you enjoy as a business owner, to see what you're really good at, to see what your sweet spot is and how you're really helping people to get success? Absolutely. And you need to see what demand is there in the market. But at some point, I had to, and you need to, as an equestrian entrepreneur, make a choice. You cannot physically do all of those things, and especially do them with excellence. That's the thing. I knew I wanted to provide a premium experience for my clients. And I also had an ideal of the quality of life that I wanted for me and my family while providing that premium experience. And for me, it was not building an agency. Instead, I knew I wanted to provide that really high touch experience. And I couldn't do that as I was offering everything under the sun. And the same is true for you. You may be a horse trainer who also has lessons, and you're coaching at shows, and you are breeding horses and selling horses and helping people to buy horses, and you're hosting clinics. And I am definitely not saying that you can't do those things if you enjoy them. What I am saying is that when it comes to building a profitable equine business, I want to encourage you to find your sweet spot. What is that area of focus where you are really great at? You enjoy it and it's profitable, and you can market that well. Because here's the reality. If your goal is to build a profitable business, which if you are here, I'm going to assume that it is, then you're likely not doing all of those things that I just listed yourself, right? Or if you are, you're probably not doing them to a high level of excellence like you want in your business, or the high level of quality that you want, because you're just one person. So you need to look at your business goals and decide what you need to do to build a business that serves you and your family and your goals well. And maybe that is hiring people to help you do those things. Totally fine. But I don't want you to feel stretched and thin because you feel like you have to offer everything or else people will not come to you, right? Because the reality is, if you can do something really well and with excellence, and you can provide that value and communicate that value in your marketing, and you deliver on your promises, then those customers that are a right fit for you are going to come, and they're going to pay the prices because you're delivering on the promise that you have given them, right? If you do not narrow down your offerings and focus on serving your right people, then you are either headed toward burnout or you are blocking yourself from the profit potential in your business, or maybe both, right? Now, the common theme in these two myths that I've shared with you today is a lack of clarity, a lack of purpose, right? Just going through the motions as a business owner and checking things off the list, but not really knowing what you're working towards and how you're going to get there. And that is the biggest pitfall that I often see for my coaching clients and website clients as well. So I have 3 lessons that I want you to take away from these, right? We've busted a couple of myths. Now, what are the takeaways? What do you do with that, right? I want to share 3 quick takeaways for you. Number 1, in order to build a profitable equestrian business, you need to be willing to answer the hard questions. Now, I was able to answer these questions for myself and get clarity because I invested in coaching myself. I wanted somebody to ask me the hard questions. I wanted to have to sit with it and really take action based on where I wanted to go and figure out how I was going to get there and be willing to make some bold, courageous choices along the way. I had to get somebody that was outside of my realm to get the clarity that I wanted. So you've got to be willing to answer the hard questions. Who are you for and who are you not for are some very big questions. Number 2, it is okay to say no. That is a takeaway all on its own, right? Whether you struggle with people pleasing or not, in business, it can be very hard to say no because, again, you feel like you're turning away money, and what business owner would do that? But the reality is you can say no in a very gracious way. You can say no and encourage people to find somebody and maybe even refer them to someone that's a great fit for them because you want to provide that high level experience. You want to make an impact so you can be empowered to say no to people that are not a right fit for you. Number 3, your next takeaway is to know where you are going. You don't have to have a 5-year plan. But clear goals as a business give you a filter for your decisions, including your marketing and where you're going to invest your money in your marketing and the time that you have. When you know where you're going, where you know where you want to go, where you're headed, you're willing to have those hard conversations. You're willing to say no. You're willing to put a strategy together and follow it. You're willing to post on social media even when you don't feel like it, because you know it's going to help you get closer to those goals that you have, to the direction that you're going for your business and for your family. You need to be willing to evaluate where you are and where you want to go, and then use social media, use websites, use your email marketing to help you to get there. When you do not have a goal or a plan in place for your business, your marketing is not going to work because you don't even know what you're going after. So your marketing becomes very haphazard instead of strategic, and that is not going to work well for you. So my biggest takeaway, my encouragement to you today is to consider these myths. Consider your filters, but especially consider the why and the goals in your business. What are you working towards? And what big decisions or big questions do you need to ask yourself to make to actually get there? All right. Now, that is actually why I created Take the Reins, my one-on-one coaching program, where I help equestrian entrepreneurs like yourself through a personalized one-on-one coaching session over 3 months. You create a cohesive social media, website, and email marketing strategy that will help you meet your goals because you'll have clarity on where you're going, who you're working for and with, and how you're going to get there. So if you're an equestrian entrepreneur who has a vision for your business, you know where you want to go, you're ready to roll up your sleeves and get to work, then we can work together to get your marketing in line with your goals. I would love to visit with you. Take the Reins was designed specifically for equestrian entrepreneurs like you. Applications are currently open, friends, for the fall session. Believe it or not, fall is coming up, which means it is time to get strategic. It is time to really plan for, believe it or not, 2024. I want you to enter the new year with a plan in place. I want you to enter the fall and the holiday season knowing exactly who you're for, who you're targeting, how you're going to speak to them, and how you're going to turn your right fit customers or right fit audience into your customers. You can learn more about Take the Reins at stormlily.com/reins, or leave a comment here on this video or send me a message. I'd be happy to answer your questions and get you more information about that as well. But in the meantime, I encourage you to sit down with these 2 myths, evaluate if you have been believing them, and then go ahead and bust them. Be willing to have those hard conversations and chase after those equestrian dreams. Have an amazing day, friends.